Hello, I'm Tom Gilson. I'm one of the leaders of the Apologetics Fellowship. You'll find us online at apologeticsfellowship.org if you happen to be looking at this from another location on the web. And I want to just take a few moments to let you know who we are, why we meet, and I want to invite you to join with us. We meet the second Saturday of every month in the morning in a location in Westchester, Ohio. This is, you can find this on the webpage, apologeticsfellowship.org. In the menu under events, you can find all the details on how to join with us there. If you're not in Ohio, but you're interested in starting an apologetics fellowship where you are, contact me through the contact form there, and we'll see if we can help you get that going. But why do we exist? What are we about? What is this for? I was explaining this to a pastor at a local church recently, and I said that it really started out of concern for lonely apologists. Now, I had to tell him, and I'll explain here too in a moment, why that matters, because I know that there's no pastor in the world who's thinking that lonely apologist is the big ministry that he needs to have, and the big problem that he needs to solve in his church. But maybe that resonated with you. You know, I've been to a bunch of apologetics conferences. I've spoken at them, and in breakout sessions, I have asked the groups there frequently. I've said, you know, obviously you're interested in apologetics. You're here at an apologetics conference. How many of you, when you go home to your church, how many of you find that you're lonely there, in the sense that there's no one else who really shares with you this interest in discipleship of the mind, in answering the hard questions, in dealing with the kinds of things that we deal with as we think about these important matters of discipleship of the mind? Well, I asked that question, and typically 2/3 of the people raised their hands. And yes, it's true. People who are really interested in these kinds of issues tend to be lonely. And that's really the impetus by which I contacted my friend Cade Cover. He's the director of Ratio Christi at the University of Cincinnati. Ratio Christi is a campus apologetics ministry. And he and I, we found a place. He found a place. But we invited people that we knew and asked them, would you like to come join us for an apologetics fellowship? You know, there's no mailing list for lonely apologists. We were only using word of mouth. So we were surprised. We were excited to see a couple dozen people show up the first time. But not just show up, and not just for fellowship. There was energy in the room there. There was energy in there for ministry. These were people who didn't just want to talk about apologetics and just have a good time together. These were people who wanted to serve. And that's what we are about too. And that's what I explained to that pastor. You see, we are currently, and you know this very well, we are living in a time when anti-Christian hostility is on the rise, and pressure to leave the faith is like never before in the Western world. It's been common around the world. It's been common down through history. But for us in America, North America, and in the Western world, this is an unfamiliar experience. And what does it take for a church to stay strong, for even a church member to stay strong under pressure to walk away from the faith? Well, I can think of lots of things. It takes prayer. It takes a strong devotional life. It takes knowledge of the Bible. It takes community. My goodness, how important that is. Outreach, fellowship, mercy ministries, all these things are important. And apologetics is certainly on that list, because when the time comes that you're wondering, can I stay strong in the faith? Will I give in to this crisis of conscience that my school or my work is presenting to me? Will I walk away from the faith? Will I join all the others on social media who think that it's a foolishness to follow the faith? Where are you going to find an answer to that other than in reasons to believe? And my goodness, the people on social media are wrong. There are so many reasons to believe. It's so encouraging. So apologetics is vital, but it's missing. It is the most important, most overlooked important ministry in the church, especially in days of pressure like we're facing. So, yes, we can have a ministry there. I'm not just thinking of lonely apologists here. I'm thinking of local apologists. That's what we think about in the Apologetics Fellowship. We are, no matter whether you're a conference speaker or an author, as some of us are, or whether you're just beginning in apologetics, as some of us are, you can have a ministry in your church. We are not just talking about answers to hard questions like how do we know the faith is true? How do we know that the faith is good? We're talking about answers to hard questions like how do you have an apologetics ministry in your church? How do you connect relationally? How do you connect with other leadership in the church so that you're integrated with the leadership of your church? How do you build trust? How do you make it clear to the other leaders in the church that this is a ministry that's trustworthy, vital, really? And how do you begin to use what God has given you as such a deep interest and make it valuable and helpful in service to other Christians? Every ministry in the church is a ministry of service. Every ministry in the church is a ministry that should be integrated along with the rest of the church. We're about helping equip local apologists to do that too, of whatever skill level, whatever background level. We're here to help you grow. We do have apologetics training too, but that's another matter. The main thing we're doing at the Apologetics Fellowship is fellowship, but also equipping for ministry. You know, my life verse is Habakkuk 2:14, and what it says is that the knowledge of the glory of the Lord should fill the earth as the waters cover the sea. The glory of the Lord fills the earth. The knowledge of the glory of the Lord, not so much yet. We're here to help make that happen. We invite you to join us. Come to apologeticsfellowship.org, click on the events tab or the contact tab, and we'd love to have you be a part of us.